Turn 1 Ponder for Luis. Tundra and Plateau.
It's like scooters, but yeah. Can I draw cards if they're permanent? I can get counters from exile and exile bottom. Play this.
There's a Flooded Strand from Exile.
So it's like a living you got it. It's a creature around.
End step Brainstorm. We have an end step Brainstorm happening. Mono blue Displacer Kitten with High Tide and Cloud of Fairies? That sounds wild. Queen says, I thought I might have seen Chris at leaving a Legacy open with his backpack live stream setup. Yeah, so I do have a backpack live stream setup. I do have a backpack recording setup, the whole deal. The Leaving a Legacy event was in Boston, about a couple hours drive from New York City where I live. I would love to make it out to more events like that, to do coverage. If that's something you care about, please consider becoming a member. It's a bit difficult for me currently to block weekends for Magic events. I do work on weekends frequently. So taking off from work to cover Magic events is just not ideal. But yeah. Occasionally, I will try to make it out to an event, but one where I have to stay overnight especially is a bit tough. Currently. Teferi Time Raveler on the board. Pete Sheep is here and says Displacer Tide is a pretty sick deck name, not going to lie. Yes, that is pretty sick, actually. I think we're still in the very beginning of Displacer Kitten. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes together with this card over the next couple of months. I don't think we're even close to figuring out what deck is most is the best build with that card just yet. Force of Will pitching Force of Negation on... I missed what? Did anybody catch what got Force of Will there? Pyroblast on it back. Okay, so it was all with Teferi on the stack. Okay, I missed that because I was talking to Twitch chat. Thank you, chat. What store do you record these games in? It is Game Storia in New York City. Engineered Explosives on 3 comes down. Let's see if there's a prismatic ending for John to protect Teferi. Teferi plus. Link is in the Bronx. All right, yeah, come out to Queens and play some Legacy.
All right.
All right, Mystic Sanctuary putting Power Blast on top. Snapcaster Expressive Iteration.
Sorry, what was exile?
Does Hank... Oh, I'm not... it's Hank Zong. I'm not sure if you're talking about Roland or Hank, but they both play on the stream.
Put a card in my hand, and then it says not cast.
Free card?
It's Expressive Iteration. It's Power Blast. Double fetch here for Luis. Finds a Tundra and Mystic Sanctuary. Maybe an Expressive Iteration getting put back on top. Thinking about Mystic Sanctuary, it seems. Okay, Expressive Iteration is the card. Seems like Luis is thinking about this Engineered Explosives or a play in hand. Passing the turn. Plus on Teferi. Attacking with Snapcaster Mage. Just realized we don't have life totals for Twitch chat, sorry, for live.
I got a force, 3 fetches.
It's 16, right?
It's 15, right?
Force and 3 fetches? It's 4 damage?
Force. Oh, yeah, it was like 14.
Yeah, yeah. Cards in hand?
I have 2.
I think I have life totals right. We'll try to figure it out. Sorry about that. Usually we have a life counter on the table. Sometimes it gets forgotten. Plains Cycle, Timeless Dragon. Find a Plains, play it.
And do you have 3 cards?
You still won
And Eternalizing Timeless Dragon with the correct token. There we go.
And here's try.
And a turn popping the Engineered Explosives to ferry down.
Try it. Sure.
Drawing and playing the Expressive Iteration. Ooh, what was that second card? I missed. Was that a Wandering Emperor? Twitch chat liking the proper tokenage. People appreciate that kind of thing. Dirk says Teferi plus 0 mana, artifact plus kitty makes infinite loop. It's not really infinite because you can only draw your whole deck and then you would die. But yes, in the way that you're saying it can be used infinite times.
Oh, okay.
As many times as you want. I think some of these Jeskai decks are using Thassa's Oracle now, but still, as I mentioned earlier, the correct build of the Displacer Kitten deck is still being figured out, and I think it'll be a couple of months before we see a kind of a final version, if that makes sense. All right, Prismatic Ending took out the dragon, and here's Narsa. And the question will be, you know, will the deck be Jeskai? Will it be Esper? Will it be 4-color? Will there be Days Undoing decks still? Will Days Undoing be a thing of the past? Will Days Undoing end up being better and Displacer Kitten gets thrown into the scrap heap? We don't know. Or Can Man is here, says, I had to let John Lee borrow proper tokens during our match at the Leaving a Legacy Open. Glad to see he has corrected the situation. Yeah. Thank you for your service, Orcan Man. Orcan Man, doing what must be done. And I'm disappointed to hear that John was unprepared. Drummer says there are some lists that run Thassa's Oracle and some that just rely on Mentor. Exactly, yeah. There are a few different versions of the Displacer Kitten builds running around. And I think at this point in time, nobody knows what the correct build is with any definite certainty, going to brag about their deck list or anything like that. It's still in the beginning.
Yeah.
Snapcaster Expressive Iteration happening here.
It was Storm 7.
The Wandering Emperor is on the board for John.
So as I casted it, Storm 7. So it's this plus.
Recruiter of the Guard gets forced pitching Brainstorm.
It excludes this for which I was here from.
Cards in now?
Trying to make sure we have correct live totals. I can't really see.
Sure. Go ahead.
Hoping to hear an update from the players.
Yep.
If Sentinel just automatically draw it out there. Can't play cards. Drop 50 still pretty good, I think. Yeah, really punishes cantrips. That's good. You good with 2 rings.
And here.
Look at you trying to
Targeting snap.
Prismatic Ending on the Snapcaster Mage. Attacking for 3. So I had life totals wrong. Luis now down to 11.
Yeah, almost.
Yep.
No, it's good. Yeah, a lot.
It looks like John is at 16 according to Twitch chat. Thank you for the help on this, everybody. It's really hard to follow life totals here. Bounce on the Samurai. It's a Fairy Time Reveler. Could be a dangerous turn if the kitten and engineered explosives are available, for example. Looks like a Solitude is in hand for Luis currently.
I'll keep that.
Can't quite see what else is in there. Looks like a Force of Will.
Put your hand around.
Urion to hand and pass the turn. Side Norna, thank you for the resub. 19 months for Side Norna at tier 1. Chris B doing his thing. What's up, Side Norna? All right, Solitude was used there. I missed what card was pitched, but Snapcaster is gone. Teferi survives. Okay, so pitch was a prismatic ending. Put in the correct pile this time. Wandering Emperor creates a samurai. So John keeps dropping threats. Plus on Teferi. Tapping 5. I think we can see a bird. There it is.
Resolve. Sure.
Go to instant.
When does this come back?
My instant.
Your instant.
Teferi exiled here. An opportunity for John to cast some spells.
Yep.
Swords on Urion. It gets bounced in response. Teferi comes back. Teferi now with 4 loyalty protected from the samurai. Can turn the samurai into a 3/3 with the Wandering Emperor.
Attacks. Attack Fury.
Attacks Teferi for 2.
Like there's a chance that I can.
Minuses the Emperor for another samurai. Tapping 3. Teferi.
Is that math? Oh, no, it's not to that much.
1 card in hand.
I'll keep
13.
What's up?
yeah.
And Urion coming back.
Go to instant.
Exiling Teferi. Teferi comes back. Some protection for Teferi now with Urion on the board. Narset. Pretty good. It's like a Swords to Plowshares in hand for Luis. Mystical Archive. Prismatic Ending was found there. It's going to exile Teferi. Yeah, John has some nice planeswalkers. Plussing on the samurai. Passing the turn. Force of Phil is here. What's up, Force of Phil? If you haven't already, go check out the Eternal Turtles podcast.
No.
Narset gets attacked by Urion. And Palace Jailer. Okay.
You're the Monarch.
It's a card I didn't expect to see.
And then,
Impulses for an artifact.
well, I mean, I'd love to give this creature back, but it's
So Luis just became the Monarch, but it seems like Luis thinks it's okay to just put a cap from a dice case on the Palace Jailer to indicate that. I don't really know if that's legal. Reeds Cracker says, afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It doesn't look like we're going to see a Monarch token, and I don't really know how Twitch chat and the YouTube comments is going to be able to handle that whole situation. Yeah, people seem really upset already. People are really angry. The live chat is losing their minds. The YouTube comments are going to lose their minds even worse. Urion takes out the Wandering Emperor finally. Here's Monastery Mentor. Pretty good.
I have 12. Sure.
Jizlo with a really silly question in the chat. Should every deck keep a City's Blessing emblem available at all games? Yes! You should have a City's Blessing in your deck box, everybody. Come on, people. You never know. So is Displacer Kitten a real thing? So far, it's looking like it's a real thing.
They get
Mystic Sanctuary, put Force of Will on top. Draw it for turn, pass. Monastery Mentor now for John is going to get Force of Will, of course. Let's see if there's protection, Force of Negation. And a Force of Negation back on that. All right, so Monastery Mentor is getting countered. Wow. What a battle. Attacking with Urion here. Ponder for John.
Sure. Fetch.
Or Can Man in the chat points out I bring a second deck box with everything. Manifest tokens, Planeswalker emblems, etc. If you don't, are you even trying to win? Yes! Don't forget On an Adventure. Don't forget Treasure. Don't forget Illusions. Don't forget Copy tokens, everybody. Don't forget the Companion Indicator token. Come on, people. Let's get serious about these kind of things. It's exhausting.
This is a very cool brew for DT players and everything. It's very valuable. What's expensive? I mean, Painter is $75 each.
Day-night indicator. Thank you, Higbeast, for the reminder on that. Make sure you throw one of those in your extra deck box, everybody. You never know. I mean, what if your opponent casts an Outland Liberator and doesn't have the token? What happens then? Do we just not know? Come on, people.
This is the 7th spot.
Sometimes you just get joked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, bottom hand exile. Yep. I don't have.
The whole deck is licensed cards. For Legacy, it's not very much.
Alright, so
It's also lucky for the new game too.
All copies are
No solitude.
8 copies.
Now for you.
Sorry, how many is it? 8 copies. Yeah. 8 copies.
I got it for 45.
I mean, that Urion that's just sitting on the table there, how do we know for sure that that's a companion without the companion indicator card? Signorna says people are just playing Plateau and Jeskai. Yeah, we've seen some Plateaus. It makes it possible to find red mana with Timeless Dragon, for example. A few other things. Yeah, how do we know that Urion is not in exile? We don't know. Prediction happening now in chat. Will we see a kitten?
I was like, why not? Have Oswald there.
Red blast to hand.
He protects himself with Caracas too. But people started playing it. So it's kind of out of root.
Power blast on Narset.
So you have these crazy Oswald chains that go from Sentinel to Painter and Ancient Damage to Grasslands. Just one. I used to have a roster.
Mr. Chow is here. It says, yo, finally caught a stream instead of just YouTube vids. Good to have you here, Mr. Chow. Welcome.
This is good. This is like actively good. It ignores Thalia.
Here's Teferi Time Raveler. Bounces nothing, draws a card. Yeah, we're seeing John miss some land drops here. Not good. And looks like John drew a Brainstorm. Let's see if there's a Brainstorm lock about to happen here. Nope, it's getting red blasted. All right, so no Brainstorm. I like that play from Luis. Don't allow them to Brainstorm after missing land drops. Good play. Flooded Strand, fetching. Mr. Chow pointing out a lot of Jeskai or locals I noticed. Yeah, we've had a lot of Jeskai recently for sure. You have a bunch of Jeskai players. A lot of control mages here in New York. Unlicensed Hearse. Interesting. Urion to hand. This might actually be the first time we're seeing Hearse on stream. Someone go back and check all of our YouTube videos and make sure there are no Hearses in case I said something wrong. I think this is the first Hearse ever.
There's a lot of turn 3 wins. For example, turn 1, Saga Law. Turn 2, Flame Technique. Turn 3, Saga Float Mana. Find Grandstone. Play Land. You have 2 other mana. Violate King. Saga is kind of absurd. Card is ridiculous. I like Counterspell. I like it.
Mr. Chow, thanks for the follow. Welcome. Prodigy Child with some MTG Finance. Bought loads of Hearses at $2 going to the moon. Yeah, unlicensed Hearse is pretty good.
Number of cards exiled?
Yep.
What's weird though is that you know how Murktide like actually got me. I had so many power blasts in the game. I had like 4 power blasts for game 2.
I know people play Counterspell.
Yeah.
Here's Urion.
Remove Pyroblast and
So you're just kind of ignoring it. You can put a little sugar just to fun.
Oh, it resets.
Does Legend kind of care about the cards in your
I'm not sure what the counters on Hearse were just now. They've been removed.
Because like
I'm thinking about it in the way that blue.
the thing is, moon is better against more things than you know, like if you're playing because Jazzy Void Charge is that color because it's a 2-1 shadow. It's the 3/2 shadow for 2. I have one in my phone. This is an essential.
Okay, so Urion blinked unlicensed Hearse, and that's what reset it. Someone pointing out. I missed that. Expressive iteration happening here. How is everybody currently feeling at this very point in time about expressive iteration? Share your thoughts and feelings now.
It's in mono black. It's ridiculous. 14 dark ritual. Turn 1. Kids can't beat that. You play it with Helmets and Minions.
Specchio says it's a great magic card. Shenwei says so busted, amazing card. Mr. Chow is more bothered by Murktide, honestly. The all-powerful Daniel says not as good as Brainstorm, making a good point, actually. Making a good point. And I'm not making a joke. MTG Banning says needs an old frame. We may see an old frame expressive iteration someday. Retro frame, it's actually called. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Red blast on expressive iteration.
It's good against it beats everything. It's good. It's not good against these people. It doesn't do anything to
Brainstorm here for John. Coach Loco, thanks for the follow. Welcome.
okay, that seems kind of reasonable. In the sense
Prodigy Child suggesting that Legacy have a restricted list.
it's a similar number. Yeah. Oh, I guess you can trip it away.
All right, 2 more cards exiled. Hearse now up to 4.
But then taking yourself off that's the only problem.
You're done? Yep.
Yeah, that's actually what I have.
Jay Liddy in the chat. I wouldn't mind seeing EI restricted in Legacy. All right, we have some people that want a restricted list.
Yeah. But I think that, I mean, you don't have to.
What other cards would you restrict, Twitch chat and YouTube comments?
Yeah. I mean, that's a sick deck. I love that deck. One of the greatest legacy game picks. I love that match. I think I'm going to grab this one.
Here's Ponder.
See you the next one?
MTG Banding wants a Shifting Ceratops restriction. Prodigy Child wants a Murktide restriction. Caracas protecting Urion.
Woo! Turn 1. Oh my god. Oh. Good game though.
it's a nice fun. I was thinking like
I also, what's funny is you really need to a good hand too. I'm like,
please lift, please lift.
Exactly.
Any ban, unban requests? Side note or anyone else? YouTube commenters, tell us what you think.
It's like I certainly think that like
it's just there's like
Lance is always gonna struggle against a
Right,
bad
I mean,
spell.
those are friends, like, yeah, the only thing.
Licensed Hearse now up to 6.
Just look at spell-based counters, just remember versus like.
Narset, Porter of Elves, minusing.
That is what I was expecting. Bringing in like chains and abruptic chains.
Never need it? No, I never did that. As you saw, like, oh yeah, tricky one. So it's like, oh, tricks out the back. Maybe you never play around top of the library. Nice. Like, who's like one of the top 9 players in the world right now? Like, Post Malone. Yeah, Post Malone. Like, playing against Post Malone is like playing against Toast. It's all the same. It's the same thing. Yeah,
Mystic Sanctuary.
$10 million recording artist. Then there's Post Malone. So.
You guys both make music. You both play Magic.
Imagine if Post Malone.
Licensed Hearse now at 8.
That would be Magic. I was just gonna say that would probably be like the greatest thing.
Really good.
Red Blast drawn for turn.
Like Legacy or Monday night would be top.
With the Sanctuary, put it back on top.
No, I'm kidding. That would never happen.
Tapping 4. 5. We might see a Urion and Crew the Hearse here. Red Blast. Urion might not survive the trip down. Let's see.
Another, I forget which one, but one of the, when like it first started breaking out that like celebrities and athletes play, there was one football player, I'm forgetting his
Oh,
name.
Cassius Marsh or
So
something.
Cassius Marsh is like, he's in it because he also does like content.
Urion counter.
There's a couple other players that, I don't know, I forget the names, but I remember the one dude who was like a running back or something.
Prismatic Vista getting sacked now.
Oh, the kicker guy.
Something, yeah, there was a bunch of them.
I know what you're talking about.
There was a bunch of them. Yeah, that's like,
Here's the basic mountain.
It was,
there was like a handful.
I think his name is also Chris, actually.
You know Tom Brady loves passing a Teferi time.
Yeah, he does. Is he a kicker?
He loves that.
Prismatic ending on Narset.
I don't want you just sit there. But
Forced pitching Snapcaster. Pretty good.
All the shots.
You know how that one guy, what's his name, like, Paul, he crossed over from content to boxing?
John now at 8. Hearse is at 8. It looks like.
We're just gonna see like NFL. We're just gonna see like offensive coordinator Chris Minucci.
We have all kinds of takes on ban list updates in the chat.
great if you guys are watching the game and I'm the ref and I just come out and it's like. Yeah, whatever.
Expressive Iteration is on the stack, it looks like, and a fetch and response.
Everyone says this is 90 MTG out of that. He's got like this insane job and he's still like subscribe.
Watch this video all day, knows how to make content. It's just a life.
It's safe.
And a red blast on the Expressive.
I'll get the buy copy, right? I'm not gonna get carried into it. Do you believe it?
I'll respond.
Do you believe it? If you told me that I gave round, would you believe it? I would. I would believe it. I'll see you guys.
First activation here. And another Narset. Minusing it. Brainstorm.
You have no mana.
Like the easiest on your brain.
Oh, I would. If somebody was
Here's
like,
Displacer
you
Kitten.
want to pick the easiest deck because your brain power is only so heavy you don't want to like wear yourself out.
Crewing it and attacking John.
Burn is still like it's
Game. That's game.
I would probably do some kind of stomping.
Luis gets there. Well played.
Rough start.